inside me, son of a god. I'm like a titan that's rising on just you watch. I'm stepping into fate, there is no time to waste. I've got that lightning inside me, this is how legends are made. This is how legends are made.
Welcome to our video recording of our epic journey up the coast of Michigan.
Yeah, this was something we wanted to do for quite a while and wanted to find that perfect summer weekend where it's warm and perfect wind.
Yeah, we were kind of end of July, started off in Michigan City, Indiana, and made it all the way up to the Mackinac Bridge.
Yeah, boy, at this point, too, it seemed like it was so far away, and I was so nervous about not making it. And
kind of a high wind takeoff. If you look at these wings coming up, and the light doesn't show it, but it was early in the morning.
Yeah, we were launching on tarmac. Luckily, we found a little bit of dry ground, so that helped.
Yeah, some of us don't like launching on the tarmac as much as others. It's tough sometimes when you get that gust of wind and that wing isn't quite perfect, but you want it to be. Right here, I killed the motor because I wanted a perfect launch. And I thought I was done flying, but right about here, you notice that wing was flying sideways, and we can all guess what happened next. It was bad.
So at this point, we basically switched gears real quick. I came in and landed, and we pulled out our backup motor and tried to get that up and running as soon as we can so we can continue on and get through this leg.
It's not my motor. I mean, it's not my primer system.
So it's tight.
Yeah, and that's where I think it's like flip the switch here. No, it's like this. There. I think that does it. Then I think flip it back and then pray it works.
That's not.
What about a propeller? It's an aviator thing. Who knows? It might not even work here.
Lesson number 1, take the prop with you before flight.
No spinny thing.
Isn't that lesson 2?
Well,
Yeah,
The first lesson would be out on the field.
yeah, there's been a lot
Here's
of
lesson
lessons
number
here.
1.
Yeah, there's lesson number 1.
For those that are keeping track.
Wait, how many crops do you have? My goodness, that's low.
So this is kind of the beginning of our first leg. I had an incident, bent the frame a little bit. We had a backup motor. Thank you, Steve Kane. First time flying a nitro for me, so I was on a Moster, and all of a sudden, I'm on a nitro, somebody else's nitro. Went to a left-hand throttle, really touchy throttle compared to mine. I don't know if you can really see in the video, but I put my wing up like several times because I did not want to fail again. And I was successful, a little bit gusty, but overall we all had a good launch.
Yeah, and our adventure out to the lake was pretty slow going because we were kind of fighting a pretty good crosswind getting there. But boy, as soon as we got to the lake, we turned downwind and we're doing 60 miles an hour, and it was just a perfect start from there.
Yeah, surprisingly, with as windy as it was on takeoff, once we were in the air, we kind of stayed up around 1,000 to stay out of that turbulent air, and it was just smooth. It was really nice.
Yeah, this was probably one of the only legs actually where it was really bumpy down low. Most of all our other legs were down low, but this one we stayed up about 1,000 for pretty much the whole time.
And the pictures make it look a little more foggy maybe than it was, but it was a little.
And at this point, this is the most crabbing I think I've ever done. You can look at that photo. I mean, that's just crazy.
Yeah, we're at like probably more than a 45-degree angle to the direction of travel. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, it was really neat just seeing all the different houses and little campgrounds and stuff throughout there too. It was really cool.
Yeah, at this point we're getting to Holland where it was out of fuel. We did about 91 miles, and it was starting to get a little rocky, so we decided we're going to land at Park Township Airport.
Yeah, boy, once we came in, I did a couple loops. You can see there, I took a little wing collapse too on landing, but I wanted to make sure I wasn't getting blown backwards, so I kind of took a couple loops around before I came back in, and you can just see me going for a little bit of an elevator ride. And luckily I hit that sink and I was high enough where I knew I wasn't going to hit another one, and came out pretty smooth. But boy, it was I don't know if thermic was the one, but it was gusty.
And this is me. I kind of had the same thing. I thought everything was good, and then just at the last second, I kind of ran out of the room, came down, and just did a little stumble step. Everything was fine, and luckily for me, that was the last on the nitro. We were able to fly the other one. This is Gene here, making it look pretty easy. Actually, his seemed to be a pretty mellow landing, at least compared to what Terry and I seemed to do.
Just hanging out in Menard's paramotor section. Paramotor repair.
You need to make this out of this.
You know?
In paramotor repair section 1, subsection alpha, this is how you straighten tube. It's flyable.
Put some chuck tape.
Well, yeah, but before I keep making mistakes.
This is the Menard's aircraft division. This is precision work at its finest. There you go, folks. If you've never seen Jack do anything, you have now.
So back and forth is what? That's what he was saying.
And Justin made a big deal out of making these spars. Huh, this is easy.
Simple.
This is easy. Jack, my brother's the only one watching us. He's a snowmobiler. He said, this looks like a trail repair to me. I said, yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Tailgate repair, but we'll give you that.
Yeah.
So that part goes into the other.
Just push it on, Terry.
And now he's finally doing what I said.
Well, he doesn't listen.
What's up in
I
here?
hate you guys.
Oh,
Oh, nuts.
that's where we need that smaller. Finally got the motor back together, all repaired, and I'm on my own equipment, ready to roll.
I think they'll be launching here no later than 6:30, I would say. And I think they're going to do another, it'll be a little bit shorter. They did 91 miles this morning. I think this will be shy of 91. I'm thinking it's in the mid 80s, I believe, distance-wise. So I've got my stuff in the GPS and I'm ready to head to Ludington. We will be going to Ludington, and hopefully no issues. Of course, you all seen earlier that we got Jack's machine put together. Jack will be back on his own machine. Thank you, Steve Kane, for having the loaner here, but Jack's going to be back on his own machine. We all know how nice that is. Here's Steve's machine. But everybody knows how nice that is to be back on your own machine, your own equipment that you're familiar with. It is humid right now. There didn't even rain enough to dampen the ground at all. It just rained enough to raise the humidity up 20% more. So it's super humid. Still got a nice breeze, but this is just blue skies are coming across here. So they're going to be going north. That is north. This is west. Right over here is the beach. So they will head for the beach.
So at this point, we're just trying to get out to the lake, and boy, we were doing literally 11 miles an hour trying to get to the lake, and having trouble penetrating, trying to get as low as we can while still having some outs with the trees. And I tell you, that was the most nervous I've been as far as having an out and staying low as you exit to Holland. But we got out there and it was great. This was also the second airspace we ran into. So the first one was Benton Harbor. We got FAA approval to pass through there, and then this is our second airspace in Muskegon. We contacted them. They were real great guys and gave us approval, made our radio calls, and transitioned through the airspace, and pretty seamless.
Yeah, we're flying by Muskegon here and happened to, through comms, found a buddy of ours, Jeff Hansen, happened to be on the beach right at the moment that we were flying by. It was awesome. He was waving, and we, you can see we did a nice low flyby. Beautiful sunset. It was just, what am I here, like 8 feet off the ground, just butter right along the beach.
The whole flight was smooth.
It was, but you can see also by the sunset there, we're running out of daylight, and although it's smooth, you got to find a place to land.
Yeah, I think the whole flight, everyone was just happy to see you. I mean, all the kids are waving. I mean, we had pretty much 100% of the 99.9% of the people were so happy this whole adventure.
This is a Saturday night that we happen to be flying by, and this is a pretty popular beach, and people, some people have never seen that, so they're just waving and smiling, taking pictures.
And especially, this is like right where we exited the airspace, so nobody flies paramotors in this area, so that was kind of unique too, is getting that approval and flying through somewhere where nobody else gets a chance to fly through.
Yeah, and that might be the thing where a lot of people haven't seen what we do, and it's really cool. We found this great piece of manicured grass. Matt Miller found it for us. It was just beautiful, smooth grass. You can see how nice that wind is. It's just a perfect landing. That's Terry touching down.
I think that's Gene.
Oh, is it Gene first? Yeah, and there's some rougher grass on the edge there. I'm not sure what that's about, but
yeah, we all kind of filed in here single file. It was a great little LZ, and just getting all our stuff packed up and getting ready to head out for the night.
We did kind of pack up a little quickly to get off this nicely manicured grass.
Yeah, it was kind of neat. A whole bunch of kids came out, and all the neighbors were actually watching us land, and they were loving it. It was a little entertainment for them for tonight.
Yeah, it was a really warm reception. It was a lot of fun to see people's reaction. And Gene here tried to adopt another family. Here's our morning flight takeoffs that we weren't able to use last night's LZ. They were busy using that nicely manicured lawn for other purposes. We got a zero wind takeoff with just a ton of dew at this new LZ.
This was a run out. Didn't go too bad, but boy, your wings were wet.
Went bad for me right there.
Yeah.
Overall, just had to reset and get that wing to inflate properly and go for it.
It was a beautiful morning, though. I mean, boy, there's just fog everywhere, and very nice.
Super smooth. Even we kind of had been struggling from our LZ back to the beach, but this was just a flawless little flight to the beach and then up the coast.
Yeah, we were a couple miles off the beach, but this one did not take long. It was just a couple mile-an-hour wind up there, and it was beautiful, just so relaxing.
Yeah, you can see the fog there. Just the sun was coming up. It's beautiful.
Yeah, we were pretty fortunate with the weather. We didn't get perfect weather, but boy, it's hard to complain.
As close as you could get for the amount of miles we covered. This was a really good stretch of weather.
Yeah, you can see we're rolling up on the coast now, and I think as we turn on to it, there wasn't we got a tiny tailwind, but we're just cruising down low, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, a lot of people out walking and waving, and again, like 99% of the people, just you could see the smiles on their face, and everybody pulls out their phone, takes pictures.
Yeah, I haven't gotten any of those pictures.
Yeah,
by the way.
Copyrighted or something.
Yeah. No, this is just great. I mean, we were hands off all the way. We're about to come to Silver Lake here at Little Point Sabo here, and it's funny. Jack and I were talking about this. Every time we come up to a harbor, it would go from beautiful hands off flying to getting really jerked around a little bit. And if anybody's familiar with Silver Lake topography here, it is in essence a big funnel. And this was one of the roughest spots we hit for quite a while. The wind was just cranking through there. Gene even turned around looking for a place to land because it was bad. But
there's an eagle that we saw I'd say honestly close to 40 of them along that whole journey. Just amazing.
Yeah.
We tried not to bother them. Like you could see, it was lower than us, and turn away a little bit. But they kind of like to come out and fly and check us out, and then they go back to their nest or whatever.
Yeah.
Here's a good example. I wanted to point out that we talk about beach flying, but not a lot of beach here. It's there's a couple spots where you got to think about your outs and your options.
Yeah. Boy, it was just beautiful. It's nice flying alongside those massive cliffs too. And this is coming right out of Ludington. There, Matt got a video of Gene flying through Ludington, and this is Jack going right up to State Park, which is a really cool place to fly. I've flown there a couple times now.
Yeah, it's a nice lighthouse. It just Yeah, that was like one of the areas where you're just smiling when you're flying. It was just awesome. And here you can see down low, just smooth, really good.
Yeah, boy, after Silver Lake, it was right back to just hands off. It
Yeah.
was just butter.
One little area there, and it probably lasted 5 minutes, and then we were back to the smooth air. And here I think we're getting ready to come up to a golf course. It's on the right, like right on those bluffs. It might even be Arcadia Bluffs golf course. But.
Well, I think that's the next one we're going to hit. This was the one before it, yep.
Yeah, but it's, you can fly right at that same level and look across and see people golfing. Just awesome.
Yeah, I think here we're rolling up to, is it Manistee? This is where we're going to...
Yeah, this is where we go. Terry and I went just a little bit past this inlet, and then we needed to turn around real quick. We didn't want to stop flying is what it was.
Yep.
But the LZ was kind of behind us right here. So we turned around, and at that point we both realized Gene wasn't with us.
He had apparently run out of fuel or about to run out of fuel, so he chose an LZ a couple miles back just to make sure he landed safe.
Yeah, hands off to knowing his fuel level and knowing the limits. And
yeah, we just had a perfect landing here.
Wow. Wow.
Is that the new Nirvana?
Huh?
Is that the new Nirvana? What? I don't...
Yeah. This is one for the weightlifters.
Wow. Never going to launch that?
And it just lays on the back of my legs.
So it's really comfortable is what you're saying.
It's super.
You look good wearing it. I'll say that. Here's a great picture of what type of fuel we're carrying with us. We filled to the brim. Terry likes to say, fill to spill.
Yeah, and at 100 pounds each, we're each basically lugging around 100 pounds as we're running, and you can see it in all of our takeoffs. We're running quite a bit more than normal.
Yeah, three good takeoffs here, and then if I remember right, this was a little bit of a struggle to the beach. Not a struggle, but we kind of took a minute. Yeah. And then we're back on the deck and seeing the shoreline. The thing that kind of amazed me the most was you think of beach flying, but there's so many variations. We went from rocks to cliffs to sandy beach to just it's just amazing. Like you really encompass everything you can. There's some rocks right there.
Yeah. Yeah, it was amazing. That's a good point for Michigan. Just so much variety. We've both flown out of state on beaches, and it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's kind of
beach.
Flat, and the same with condos. And these, we're flying at the level of some people's houses at points, and you can just see the different architecture and different size houses.
And look at the water. At this point, the water just turns this beautiful colors, blues and greens.
Yeah, literally like a tropical vacation. Like seeing the water, how clear it was.
And this is basically our second wilderness protection area. So from here we have to stay 2,000 feet above ground level, and you can see them there. And we were actually able to overlay some boundaries on Fly Sky High so we could watch where we are. And it was beautiful seeing all this stuff up at 2,000 feet. It's nice being on the deck, but you really get a grand scheme of how it is.
Yeah, full disclosure, I got to be the sissy of the group that for whatever reason, I don't really like this 2,000 and above type flying.
And this is Sleeping Bear Dunes, which was just so beautiful to see. I mean, just you can see the immense scale of it, and even a paraglider taking off as we're doing this.
Yeah, even from 2,000 feet, it is amazing. But it just also at 2,000, it gives you that different viewpoint. I mean, look at these pictures. Just they're beautiful, but they still don't even capture how awesome that water was, and just look at the colors there.
Yeah, and like Jack says, there's no way I'd be at 2,000 feet here either unless they force us to, and it was great. Being up there was beautiful.
It was. Super smooth up until...
right about here.
Yeah, toward the end of this leg, we had to turn in. The camera's going to pan around to the area, Sugarloaf.
And that's our LZ right in the center there, Sugarloaf Ski Resort. So we're going to clear the last wilderness space here and then take a hard right, and there we are.
Yeah, a little runway there. It's an abandoned airport at a ski resort, and it got rowdy. And we had to do a cross. We couldn't go down the runway. We had to cross. So that's me kind of doing a little stutter step
We're trying to stay away from the trees on the other side that you can't see, and that's why we're kind of landing out in that grass area there. And it was bumpy. It was thermally midday.
Yeah,
it was rowdy.
One of the probably toughest LZs we had, just because of the rotor and the limited space. We didn't have a good upwind takeoff.
But we actually all landed good. Gene did a go around there, which was really, really good. But we all really landed very nice there, and it was a great place to hang out. We just hung out on the airport, had some lunch, and relaxed, and got ready for our what was supposed to be the last leg of the day. So here we're getting ready to take off, and this was by far the most challenging takeoff I think we have to date. We had a crosswind takeoff on this runway. We couldn't even really run down it. It was bad.
And it's also in your head that you just landed in these thermals. We took a pretty short break with some lunch, and we're going to take off again in what we just left. So it's tough.
Yeah, and the thermals and the bad weather don't exist on the coast. It's just we have to get to the LZ and off the LZ. That's where we're really battling with this wind. Once we hit the coast, it's great.
And this is where I give just unbelievable accolades to Gene for him. His perseverance from this LZ was above and beyond anybody I've ever seen. Anybody.
All these attempts, I mean, he's got 100 pounds on his back. It's just, I would have quit 12 times ago.
And it's 90 degrees out.
Yep.
And look at what he had to do to finally launch down through this ditch, up this hill.
And you guys probably don't know, but his motor was not given full thrust. This is his climb out rate, so that's what he was really struggling with. He couldn't just mash it like a Moster and climb right out. It was challenging.
And then Terry and I got really lucky. You can see I used the runway, just the wind was right. Terry crosses, goes through that ditch, runs up the hill, had to dodge a bush there. The video doesn't show it, but that was a challenge.
And we've flown here a couple times actually with low wind. It's a beautiful place to fly around, but we obviously got right out of there and headed to the beach. And as soon as we got to the beach, once again, it was beautiful. Just smooth, onshore wind. It was great.
Yeah, our goal was to really put some miles in on this. It's midday flying, but we were along this beach. So we had, for the most part, we had this great onshore. No thermals really, just enjoying. It was a beautiful day.
And the waters here were really different with this milky color in it, contrasted. Really cool, really cool.
And you can see the cliffs here, and then the tree heights. We kind of varied our heights here. I think we started to kind of try to get a little altitude to kind of keep everything smooth as the day wore on. I started to get a little bumpy around this area.
There's not a ton of outs there, but so we get up high every so often. And this is us basically heading up to Northport, leaving Sugarloaf, and we're going to wrap around Northport and then come back down to Traverse City.
And this point right here it's a good point to make that it started getting rowdy. We came around this corner here, and that was my limit. I was ready to land.
Yeah, the air got really rowdy. We were getting, not dangerous, but thrown around. You were on your brakes the whole time. It was rowdy. So we decided to land at Northport and just wait it out until the evening session. And you could see these landings, man. It was bad. Gene really lucked out here and hit a good cycle. But
really good landing for Gene. Mine, not so much, but Gene, good job.
Down. Beautiful. Look at that.
I guess that's how you do it.
Why didn't you just do that?
Well, I was gonna, but I like to teach people different ways to land. Right, wrong, everything.
Huh.
That was the wrong way.
Gotcha.
Gene's was the right way. Yours was very nice too.
Gotcha. Huh. Well, thanks.
I just started this like 2 weeks ago. So,
No kidding.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
What's that?
Where are you going?
Right now?
Yeah.
Over on that park bench, sit my happy ass down.
Looks like a much better place to be than up there.
Dude, there's no way I was going another inch. I almost landed on the beach 5 times. But I'm alive, so it's all good. All right, we'll talk to you later. They say hi.
So at this point, we basically hung out at Northport for the next about 4 hours until the evening session, and it was hot. Luckily, we had water there and had a picnic table in the shade, and just kind of relaxed.
We had come off a really rowdy run there, and we kind of kept talking about, well, we got to take off by 6 or so. We were kind of dreading this evening flight because we thought it was going to be rowdy again.
Yeah, I really was dreading it for sure.
And lo and behold, we took off. We had about, I'm going to say 5, maybe 10 minutes of rowdy, but we started gaining some altitude. You can see in the videos here. And all of a sudden, it was just absolutely perfect.
It was butter up there, and it was pretty warm for most of the flight. Beautiful views. It was great.
Yeah, we're looking out over Sutton's Bay and Leelanau, coming up on Traverse City. We were able to, we had clearance to go to the airspace, but we were able to avoid it because of the way we crossed.
And this is us. We just crossed over into Old Mission Point here, and we're going to make the next crossing over into the east side of Grand Traverse Bay here in a sec, and come right in.
And it bears noting that we did have flotation. We all flew with reserves, and we are at somewhere in the 2,500 foot range above ground.
Yeah, it's beautiful weather. It's yeah, absolutely beautiful. Just the right amount of wind for landing. I mean, look at that. Look at that wind socket. It's just hanging right there and not moving. Yeah, it's that is laminar nil wind. I mean, look at that. That thing is straight right there and doesn't move.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, not that low.
No.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I thought you did the whole dip it in glue trick.
No, it is literally just a rock star landing wind, man.
So after a night in Traverse City, we come back to our LZ, which was, of course, dewy and wet. So we cheated a little bit, put them on the asphalt, which worked out well. It was kind of nice. We got to see a hot air balloon come in and land right before we took off. So that was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, it was 6:30, 7 in the morning, and they were already landing. It's like, huh.
Yeah, I like to complain about how early I have to get up for this, but apparently hot air ballooners do it even before us.
Good launch. Climb out was good. The wind was not, it wasn't thermally. Nice little flight over to the beach. Yeah, overall, I think this turned out to be a pretty good flight.
Yeah, this was a great leg. I don't think we even had turbulence getting into the water, which we did fight with on quite a bit of legs, but that is Mission Point there in the background. We were getting, bumped around a little bit, nothing crazy, but as soon as we cleared Mission Point, it was just butter smooth air. I did have not really, but a close call at that airplane. I saw that sucker, and I dove to the right to make sure I didn't go under him.
Close enough to call it a close call. It's very unnerving to see a plane anywhere near you.
But these waters, again, were just so beautiful there. Gene got some $1 million photos, and I even got a new screenshot. So thanks, Gene. And this was, again, just kind of our traverse into Petoskey Bay. And it was beautiful, just butter smooth. We thought we'd get kind of rocked around a bit because it was a pure west wind, but it was actually really smooth.
Yeah, we come into this bay and in Petoskey, and then we just started seeing these houses upon houses and $1 million mansions. Really, it's kind of neat to see from the air on the shore side because you really can't see it if you're driving on their street or.
Yeah, I was very impressed with all the money there. I had no idea. This was also I never saw so many planes on this leg before too. We had multiple planes flying around us, nothing crazy close, but very head on a swivel.
Yeah, so we came across all these the marina there, and the airport was kind of tucked, I guess, at the 10 o'clock from where we were flying. So we come into the bay and we make a left before the town. It was actually a really neat flight for visual.
Yeah, very beautiful place.
Yeah, Gene's going right for the dang trailer. Oh boy. Or the windsock. Yeah, that'd be the windsock. Watch your trailer, watch your trailer. Oh. Gene wins the closest. You cannot get any closer to the trailer than that. Very nice, Gene. That is, you can't get any closer to the trailer or the windsock. You win.
Here's our takeoff for the final leg of this journey. A little windy, but not just like a good takeoff. Like it was the kind of perfect wind. Did reverses. We're kind of dreading that we're going to fight this wind going over the bay here.
Yeah, we ended up doing really good, probably 25 miles an hour. We thought it'd be a really slow start to this, which it was slower, but very smooth and nice. Petoskey was a beautiful place.
Oh, yeah. They're really neat to see from the air, and then, of course, the shoreline, and all the boats in this whole little bay area. Just awesome to see.
Yeah, and this airport was great. You know, it was a little bit busy. The timing worked out well where we came in and clear of aircraft, and by the time we take off, there wasn't a whole lot of activity, so that was real nice. Good timing.
Oh, there's that the big ship here. He had a blow-up little dog on the front, and from a distance it looked real, and I kept looking at it, and then as I flew by, I'm like, oh, okay, you got me.
Yeah, that bay was great, and this is kind of, I think, just after the bay here, so we started kind of just barely turning north and getting some headwind, and we actually, this is one of the very few times all of us were trimmed fully out, and it was just butter smooth.
It was. We were able to stay down low, cruising along at a pretty good clip. By and large, hands off, little minor corrections here and there, but just, the emotions were kind of coming out at this point where it was a beautiful morning flight, kind of nearing the end. Just awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the scenery gets better, the water gets better, the weather got better, our speeds got better. It was just perfect.
Yeah, you could not ask for a better, in my opinion, probably the best leg of the trip.
Yep.
Just everything about it just came together. And
I mean, look at that. We're trims out, and I'm able to take my phone out and take a video. I mean, it was unbelievable. It was so smooth.
And some people might say, well, dude, you're doing 35, 40 miles an hour. And well, yes, maybe you could criticize that aspect, but we're right at that shore. There's a good beach. It
was awe-inspiring at this point.
It was. It was just like you're caught in this moment.
And at this point, we're realizing, hey, we're getting close to end this, and I don't want it to end.
Every one of us, once we had landed, we were actually bummed. It was like a little mini depression that it was over. And we completed it, and just all these emotions are kind of coming together right here. Is this coming up? We're about to go over the Wilderness State Park?
Yeah, coming up here in, I think, a few minutes yet. But this is just a beautiful shot. It was one of my best videos, actually, Gene took it. It's a good representation of what we did. He did a great job here. It's so beautiful. That's kind of what it felt like there.
Yeah, that does, kind of put you in, it makes you see what we saw. The colors of that water. When you think, well, I'm just in Michigan. Well, largest freshwater lakes
and this
around.
Is what Michigan is like, and a lot of people don't get a chance to see it. We're very fortunate to see it from our point of view. So this is wilderness here. We're just creeping up on it. Gene's getting some altitude to clear it, and Jack and I are just about to pop up. And I never really knew how beautiful this place was.
I had no idea how far it stretched out into Lake Michigan. That point out there it's out there.
Yeah.
It's a few miles.
Yeah, and there's still little mini islands, so you go down out there and you're going to be swimming to get back to the mainland.
Which, that's the only reason we're at this altitude, was there's not really any roads to get you if you did have a motor out.
Once we get to the north side, which we're about to do, then we drop right back down and try and parallel the beach again. And see us way down there. This
was a point where I finally had kind of come to grips with this altitude, that I was just loving the views, loving the ride. It's awesome.
And you can see, we could see Mackinac Bridge for probably the last half hour now. That's looking back at Wilderness, and it's great to see the Mackinac Bridge in the distance. And
yeah, but it just came up so quick, and we were kind of like, oh no!
Yeah.
Still had beautiful weather, not thermals, just buttery smooth. We kind of joked about, let's keep going on a little bit.
Yep. This was the one time I was actually worried my engine might die. I'm like, no, I do not want it to die right before the end of the trip. I was not really, but actually worried about that.
Yeah, so we came in here, we're looking at the bridge, and we kind of go over the bridge. We're looking for an LZ, and Matt did an awesome job on the entire trip, just being ready for us, getting things set up. Yeah, look at it, just a beautiful blue water. We actually might note that we were nervous about the Straits of Mackinac can be known for some pretty good winds, and we just never saw it. It was just beautiful.
It was. We went past it, turned around, came back barely into a headwind. I mean, there's us on the other side. It was just perfect.
Yeah, so we were on the, we ended up landing on the west side of the bridge. Nice little cozy LZ Matt found for us. Oh, there's Fort Michilimackinac.
Yeah, they had a big tour going on there. And yeah, at this point, we're at the end. We didn't really want to land, but I guess the journey was over at that point.
Yeah, it's just, and all three of us just stuck the landing. It was just like, bloop, easy.
Yeah, we kind of do a little hook landing, which I think are pretty fun, and worked out great.
And we ended up packing up and getting some really good lunch in Mackinac City.
Yeah, I think this was 15 hours and it was 477 miles, something like that. It was,
yeah, rough numbers. Those motors turned over 4.5 million times. Yeah, it's a lot to ask, but they ran flawlessly.
Yeah, very good. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We love doing it.
Saturday afternoon, the middle of the month of June, me and some friends cooking out, drinking cold beers and smoking out. A Saturday afternoon, the middle of the month of June, grab my guitar, play my favorite tunes, getting buzzed up, just me and you.
Now we were waiting all winter for the season to change. We were so happy once the summer came, 'cause we all piled into the pontoon boat. Spent the whole day in a quiet little cove. Now the grill's on the deck and the line's in the water, drinking cold beers as the sun grew hotter. Now the girls on the shore, they were soaking up the light. Well, back in 97 we were soaking up light.
A Saturday afternoon, the middle of the month of June, me and some friends cooking out, drinking cold beers and smoking out. A Saturday afternoon, the middle of the month of June, grab my guitar, play my favorite tunes.
I'm gonna tell you how we do it out here in California. Now there's a cake up by the bumper of the Chevy that's lifted. Pull the smoke around back, 'cause I just bought me a brisket. Reminiscing back in high school when we used to get twisted, sipping Mickey's with some chicks in 96 getting lifted. I got the tri-tip on, it won't be long till we're bombing. If we keep sipping margaritas to this Jimmy Buffett song. I love the California heat like the California blondes. I keep my bone zipped, short sleeves and DC's on. I got the Jack, got the Jim, find a girl, grab a cup. You got that Chevy, got that Dodge, got a Hemi, line them up. Better bring yourself some armor all, boy, and shine them up, 'cause all my rowdy friends are coming over, light them up.
A Saturday afternoon, the middle of the month of June, me and some friends cooking out, drinking cold beers and smoking out. A Saturday afternoon, the middle of the month of June, grab my guitar, play my favorite tunes, getting buzzed up, just me and you.
Well, we learned to fly on those Saturday nights, and we learned to drive 90 with no headlights. We learned to tap a keg and start big bonfires. We learned what it meant to have a shoulder to cry on, and we learned how to cook that perfect steak. We learned how a real man should act on a date, and I learned what it meant, what Granddaddy said, to never let the bullshit go to my head.